What's up, YouTube people? It is I, the grateful recovering addict, bringing to you another segment of Hypodermically Speaking, Confessions of a Spoon Cooker, Pardon the Recovery. So, I'm gonna bring this up. It's a topic that I don't think I've covered. It's dating or getting back into dating when you're in recovery from drugs and alcohol. My last girlfriend, we met in a rehab of all places, right? And we were together for about a year before she overdosed and died, right? And since then, I haven't been with anybody. Not that I haven't looked like recently, but it's not something I'm ready to really. I accept that it happened, but I'm not ready to move on. Still think about her all the time. What if? A lot of what ifs, right? Now, when you're in recovery, when you first get into recovery, you could be already in a relationship with somebody. You could have a girlfriend or wife. I'm gonna speak from my point of view, right? So you could already have, like, the guys I'm been in recovery with. They either have girlfriends, wives, ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, baby moms, right? Or they're in recovery, going into recovery, where I've met other guys where they had their girlfriend or wife and they overdosed also and died, right? Or they're out there running still. Or they're coming in and they're just totally single, right? Regardless of whatever the surrounding circumstance is, this goes for guys and girls, men and women. When you accept that you can no longer manage your life and you need to seek help for your drug and alcohol problem, and you take that first step to go into a detox and then rehab and then continue treatment further down the line, right? Your first year, they recommend you don't get into any kind of relationship, right? Like intimate sexual relationship with anybody. They tell you this because your first year of recovery, you're very vulnerable and you really can't afford any distractions. You can't take on those kinds of responsibilities. You're not all there, and it's not fair to you, the person you would be going with, to them either, because you can't devote all your time to them yet. That's why they say in your first year of recovery you have to be selfish. You have to focus on yourself. It's all about getting yourself together, because you're no good to nobody, especially yourself, if you haven't got yourself back on track. It's like that concept, like when you're on an airplane. The airplane might be going down, might be something going on where the emergency goes off. You have to put your air mask on first before you can help others put theirs on. If you're running around putting other people's air masks on, right, the oxygen masks they have in airplanes, and you don't have yours on, how many people are you going to get to help before you die, before you're no good, right? So dating in recovery is like this, from my experience. You can still go out, talk to women. You can still go about your day. You could talk to them wherever you meet them. Like, I would meet them at the stop shop. I would meet them at, like, convenience store. You meet them when you're, like, I'm on the boardwalk walking. You could say hello. You could have a conversation. That's fine. But within your first year or two, you shouldn't really think about having any kind of relationship. If you want to get laid, there are ways to get laid, but don't think about relationships. Same thing with women. You can go talk to men. You can go, but one thing I heard from one of the guys here is you don't go to a bankruptcy hearing to meet a new business partner. The same thing is you don't go to a meeting, AA, NA, CA, whatever. You don't go to a meeting to meet your next girlfriend, wife, whatever, because she's in recovery. She's there for help, and you're not doing her any kind of favor, service by looking to get involved with her that kind of way. It's just going to end badly for both of you. There are exceptions to the rule, but I do not suggest to try it that way. Like I said, my last girlfriend I met in rehab. We were both in there for opioids. We exchanged numbers. We met up outside of that. It wasn't long before we both started using again, and it progressed to the point where I'm here, she's not. She saved my life. I wasn't able to save her life. If it was the other way around, she'd be here, same thing, like thinking what I'm thinking. But in recovery, it's important that you just focus on yourself your first year. You know, wherever you are, if you're in detox, rehab, I was in a halfway house, now I'm in a sober house. Focus on yourself, focus on what you need to get done for yourself. If you find yourself in debt, get a job, pay it off. Courts, whatever, pay it off. If you have a girlfriend supporting you along the way, then you need to let her know, thank you for the support, but you need to focus right now on you. So she has to understand that you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in this program, right? You know, that's why it's limited to like visits and stuff like that. If you have a wife and kids, it's going to be more pressure for you. I'm not saying you have to distance yourself, but you have a family, you have to support, you got to do what you got to do. It should be a learning experience, should be motivation as to never go do this again. Don't go out there, use, drink, whatever, because you have a family, that's your primary responsibility as a man. Now, for me, it's been almost over 3 years since her, right? I haven't been with anybody, right? Intimately, right? I haven't been with anybody. Went on a few dates, went to movies, went to whatever, food, right, dinner. Nothing happened. I didn't want nothing to happen. Not ready there yet. I need to get myself together. As you can see in the video, I don't have a haircut. I should shave. I need to work on those things, but my mindset right now is I'm going to have this year 4 years clean and sober. Longest time I ever had, with a few speed bumps along the way. And I'm still working on myself, getting myself primaries out of debt. I owe a lot of money for different things, paying that off. Still working on my recovery, sobriety, right? Got my license back. All these other little things that do add up. You need to focus on those things, because you're no good to yourself or anybody if you can't be independent. You need to be independent, because as a man, we need to be independent. We need to be able to do for ourselves without having to rely on anybody, and we are expected to provide. That's just what it is. That's the way it is. It's always been like that. If you can't do that, then you're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready for that responsibility. Take your first year, man or woman, focus on yourself, get yourself together. It's not always going to be 1 year, because some people have done more damage to themselves than others. It might take you a while. Like for me, it's going to take me a while. I know that. I accept that. It's not always easy. It's not going to always be exciting, but it is the motivation to keep going, because there is a better life at coming my way after I put the work in. I believe it. I stay positive, and that's what's going to happen. I'm going to keep working at it. The guys I've seen that in their first year of recovery that just focus on females tend to not do so well. They don't make it to their year. They tend to get themselves in more trouble. You know, I've seen guys at the halfway house meet girls at the other halfway house. Next thing you know, they have a kid together. And she already has like 4 or 5 other kids with 4 or 5 other dudes. And he's young, and he doesn't really understand the responsibility he's getting himself into. And he don't have a job. He don't have the money to support. So if you could like play the tape forward, you're going to see this is not going to be a very, very, very good situation. I've seen guys in the sober house, they are on the run from child support. They show me on their phone the app they use, whatever to pay, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 they owe. So that's a lot of money. I was in credit card debt for about $100,000. And I'm still paid a huge chunk of it off, still paying it off. In recovery, when you enter recovery, you basically admit that you messed up, and you find yourself in this mess that you need to get yourself out of. You know, I've been getting high and drunk 10, 15 years. I'm in the woods 10, 15 years. I'm not going to get out of the woods in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to be a while. This is my message, and anybody that's interested in dating and recovery, you know, you need to focus on yourself first. You need to get your mind right. You need to get yourself together, right? You need to get all those things, your physical, your mental, your spiritual, and your financial affairs in order. That has to all be in balance and harmony before you can think about any kind of relationship. First, you need to have a good relationship with yourself, right? Then you could go ahead and go out there, meet somebody. That's just my take on it. Whatever you guys feel, comment below, whatever. I'm gonna let you go because I gotta get ready to go to work. Thank you.